yam chaw tam ise liberalism gi magi makha thangmani neoliberalism paptai ko neoliberalism ko lai LPG ga lai ba paptai ko hojik ka lai jingje so liberty hai bi makhan makhan equality is makhan makhan equality nakalam chakre that means aina hiding idi kaino sigi USA je sidagi kai lai koina so fundamental rights lai number 1 number 2 president is the head of the state number 2 the president is the head of the state ko prime minister na kaino president head of the state oitardi prime minister na kaino head of government prime minister head of the government ni ko prime minister ji india da har gadi ta sengna hak tar gadi ai di prime minister na table of presidents ta hum subule table of presidents so hangi ko kaga table of presidents hai bidi kanana khwaidi protocol gi matung in wang na lei hai bu piba table du ni aham lei kana no president matang da kana no vice president power pai di kan vice president ani suban lei je wap tai ko hum sub da kana no president adu makha da kana no former president adu makha di cabinet adu du speaker makha da cabinet adu du lakre ko wap tai ko so hojiki magi head of the state che president ni head of the state che president oigada bun have ka da purna kan the USA di salo next and president is the supreme commander of the armed forces president is the supreme commander of the armed forces president is the supreme commander of the armed forces ko dai ko ado india president kana no Draupadi Murmu ko so supreme commander of armed forces mali duni ko next day salo so sidagi magi kage puraki am gi ko so isalo independence of judiciary judicial independence agere independence of judiciary say USA gini ko next the judicial review next the judicial review next the removal of judges of the Supreme Court next the removal of the judges of the Supreme Court paptai ko so nangna hayeng khang tar gati ne court ka mari leina raba judicial ka mari leina raba nangna ju kitam lam bu ju phangraba adu tardi USA court matam se 90% chumni ko maram ti kai gina kan se ko koi Supreme Court se powerful jam oi ko even USA dagi bo koina oi ba kharle maram ti kai na koi di collegium system haibam leje collegium system se kana kana yawi chief justice of India ga 4 senior most just khanbadi kana khani appointed lari ki matung in exam ki matung in kana khali hai gani Supreme Court ki judge president hai gani but the question di president ki discretion da judge of the Supreme Court khan ngambra hai ta ding ngam di har kan ni kamai tokta re kada di recommendation lakta re collegium na mi manga just manga chief justice of India ne 4 senior most judge of Supreme Court ne moin hai ba mi do dum khan ga do masi kaya da kino lai je third judge case 1998 ta ki lakman ado Arun Jetli hai ba nupa ma leiramin no khang nguni ko ado mana yam sathina sidai Indian judiciary je tyranny of unelected na ai Hindu khabar pa na mas yam phajai na quotation option ban tyranny of unelected singi tyrant di keno rule of law leita bu ni ko bap tai ko sumaina Supreme Court na thabak tawbase parliament na yengsil lai ai ju na ju reiterate tawkre Supreme Court ki angle na kaino constitution is supreme hydro constitution ji kanana control tawdun examine tawdun interpret tawdun no akoi tawdun natro so final decision final dispute final judgment pronouncement je akoi na tawam thui hai se values ni ko yam lure ji achum mangak te yetna bji masi lure si kai masu no hai ta du masu nai ta yetna ni ngai le kem nei aduna kai koi objectivity subjectivity la kan da nang comment ga hai UPSC ki question da comment hai je subjectivity oira kan da ne ba for instance hang pa ya hang ta example ki wari ni Manipur palak traga so certain northeast region da palak traga so ethnic conflict ethnic violence 3 years hen na chathare je home ministry je ineffective way comment haira lore dai the pros and cons ma'am tholak tramo white and black way ba ya de ba comment hari jadu dugine ba comment hari. Here you require justification, strong justification da ka we. This is the go. So smaina lay kai yogre jukito USA yogre ba. Say English ngang mo ngak ta man tok tok si ko. Ada next ta muk lak si ma gek manak nak pada USA na lokson doi kan to riba. Donald Trump na lokson doi kan to riba country kai country no Canada. Ko Canada country. Chalo Canada. Canada de kai lo re. Federation with stronger center. Chalo. Federation with stronger center. Unitary have a federation have a ma. Go. Adagi amana muk confederation have a ma. Confederation that the yamna loose idea ne. Russia ki confederation namle. Russia have a labak say USSR ki labak tara mitra ngai kaitrak pada khwai chaw labak na tra. Ha na USSR the pun labak sing jo hoji confederation wari. Confederation ai tadi madu the your beijing jo to great extent they are sovereign. Papai ko. Aduga Federalism the Federation the sovereignty the compromise to in ko yana bi matungina. Aduga high constituent states in constituent provinces in the political power exercise them to gone. Papai ko. Adu federalism the makadani to true spirit have ma adu stronger center have ma. Ako stronger center da. I can mangi. Article 355 imposed to give cover power pata from Manipur. I know I want to squig you. Iril to real kite Amazon get the person kange. Amazon is in volume kya cheli kange. I use the call because of Pitado. Joko kai like blue nalga, white nalga, do kai de kaidu e guy in a cock. What they go? Rib belly guy the lay guy. Papa yabupai, though. Put on la guns the Hanam. Iril to real kai. Say the woody tie who iril to real nako. Matam the exposed to the thing the Uzu de. I do some Tatropi come by one iril to tell the chill call. Iril boom the chill to iril to go. What I got? Smina. A queen a correct exposure, quaggy side take it some actually high back up pork and them to Yamato. So I got high me do Canada Ginatra. Other Article 355 imposed to give right question. Was Article 355 imposed in Manipur? Article 355 the kano 356 ka 355 kay kane. I research paper mo si e grade. Had the president rule do kaya subuno president rule ja. President rule quite a yamba state kay state no. Say political behavior good way ni ko. Good political culture ay ni ko sa. Fana dum log je ba. Ado ay hadak 11% rule na ma I. Ay hange tigat le research the way. Yes, I'm gonna take study nipan. What 5,000 mukisang katani. UGC kwegi peer review the phone gre ko. Ay hange hangkan says the was Article 355 imposed. Officially not. But in spirit it was. Why? The orders would be from President of India. But rather, the order was from the governor. But governor just can't order to do no. Council of Minister can't head way Chief Minister na. Kari kita mga to do ba? Mangun nagi power log thok na kita mga kamay na security advisor kalaga. Sibu yari ko tabok law. Ay na order to ka ingon nagi power log thuan bay bese yari ko tabok law ba. Constitution anomaly na tra. Ado ma yadra su yadra na ma direction kar dipiram ba something. So it shows the federation with stronger center. She is manifestation namane. But like ko, she say USA the yagro sa yarway. Ay example namani ko. Chalo. Ko. Kamay ibiyay. So although India follows masam ting isalam ko. Although India follows the federal scheme of governance hai ko. Although India follows federal scheme of governance, the constitution gives the overriding power to the union. The constitution gives the overriding power to the union. Article is a law. Article 355, 356. 355 ka 356 kay kini kamba 356 na government direct lok thukini 355 na government hen gani aduga center ki direction makha hen gani. So say article 355, 356, article 353, article 249, article 256 or are the manifestation of federation with stronger center. Sinani kesi where hoina say quasi federalism by quasi di sheng da vai dai na khoi londa da ada takai ko sigi ken was implications ni ko koi leja do sum ain khang bada yam khangmam da ka wen kale khoi digi political boss hai gadra political executive hai gadra lesin ko so isum le next station je so english ki do lak se uk de ke no koi na pang je UK dagi yam la parliamentary form of government na UK dagi parliamentary form of government. Next the legislative practices. Legislative practices. Next the single citizenship. Next, the rule of law. Split the rule of law. So areas is maximum administration maximum Indian constitution gi magi saruk sekata degi oi Government of India Act 1930 last hapsiko. Next English nangulam Australia to pyro. Freedom of trade and commerce. Freedom of trade and commerce or profession and freedom of trade and commerce, profession and intercourse. Freedom of trade and commerce, profession and intercourse. So, sina kay dagi no? Sina Australia dagi. Next, kitang ju English ngambulam apartheid system sana ba apartheid ti kay no? Kailam na sina apartheid system sa South Africa. South Africa di kay no koy na lari siya Constitution Amendment process. Constitution Amendment process. Constitution Amendment process से article क्या की मतुंग इन यावे article क्या नो Constitution Amendment से article 368 ना थ्रो 368 special majority ने pass तो बनी को लोक सभा दा राज्य सभा दा पता है को so सी जे काय दगी नो कोई ना पूरे से so Constitution Amendment से क्या South Africa दगी पता है को यार bro Constitution Amendment bill जे pass तो का मतलब कि joint session of parliament जे Hamba yabra yadabra is joint session of parliament applicable for passing constitution amendment bill yabra yadabra sa yadeko constitution amendment bill the joint session of the parliament je hamba yade normally lok sabha na pass torko bill thatru pass torko rai sabha na pass torko bill normally lok sabha na pass torko that lok la aba 6 months ordinary bill da adu matam da joint session of parliament je phamgani kanana kogoni president na phamgani kanana preside togoni du de speaker na togodra na traga rai sabha ki chairman togodra speaker na togni speaker le am daga di kanana togni deputy speaker le am daga di kanana togni deputy chairman so jo ngi ko so matam du yor kan lak zin ko so kai country yogre se kido South Africa amuk England gi me da ga che now Ireland Ireland lak tinga da geography de kitang sum ziki gi mong da sum discuss to ko UK United Kingdom haiba ma ko jutai England haiba jutai ko UK gi England ga se kai khene wari ni ko or UK is the United Kingdom is the Ireland si yaw tabra UK is England ne Scotland ne Wales ne and Northern Ireland ne adu Northern Ireland na tab Ireland amu lei ri ko Northern Ireland na UK da singi adu Ireland na different country ne sidagi koi kai purei chalo directive principle of state policy Ireland dagi kai purei directive principles of state policy adu isam tam na hang bus yawi directive principle of state policy je constitution ki karam part ta yawi statement the period hang bus yaw yam ka he na power ga koi na UPSC question di skin da nga koi tar part 4 ni koi chalo part 4 of the Indian Constitution is karino directive principle of state policy okay ko ngarang aina ya hai gi bra constitution na organ jing si da tawgo da thabuk pi ga instruction pi ga hai gi dra adu the directive principle of state policy da manifesto in article 38 ki matung ina Indian state na welfare state wen ga do ni hai ba article 38 ka welfare state kangi da na faide ki weakest section down proton of the section basic needs to the government na puthu hai bani welfare state obviously communism capitalism ki mayai da lei synthesis welfare state ai ko yam phaw poni adu magi allegation ju myam lei allegation lairak padagi ne koina neoliberalism kaina ko gi political idea amakal thulei ko so sina nakalam nei gre so next is hello method of election of president je akoina Ireland dagi ni method of election of president aduga amazu mayam du khangdaba means kinang obscure oi ba ni khange ko mayam kaino ka is the nomination of members to Rajya Sabha isal nomination of members to Rajya Sabha ai kenom hage Mary Kom je kai para me mana pare ma champion ni khangi ko adagi ma se medalist ni khangi Olympic ki ma se kai oramme police ki SP orambra asi oiba oidabra ai khangre ko sigi mathakta bu mana oiba se yam wang oirami ko kai oirami ha MP to kari MP no Rajya Sabha ki MP vote ka gi brahma bole pada koi thada gi bra thada gi de ma ju thada gi de aduga ima sarda ju thada gi de koina adu budi kai gi no indirect election oi begini pare adu Mary Kom di vote chung ka da na ma parliament da MP oi kari gi through the gi no sa nomination through the mid train thoi president na khoi gi Rajya Sabha ki MP oi hen be yai ko karamba field ma ji excellent with target in the field of excellent with target art science literature and social work sports social work chingalle sports social work chingalaga ma je MP oi gi bin sum haina subject to correction ma gi Mary Kom ha film do prime minister yengu budi oi hen gi bin ga ni ko so si na nakalam lai re ko so next time Ireland lai ko next up France Ireland koi lam koi ba ba koi re Canada jo re Australia jo re ko so France ta ki kai no republic ai ba wai je France ta ki ni no khang su khange am ga so na republic have ti kai no sagi president of India je head of the state oi na tra head of the state je ai khoi gi oi na di kamai ta we ai khoi gi oi na di si je hereditary oi di ko si pham ba ya bra sa head of the state se kai oi ba sign to ba tang sum le propose ko head of the state se akoina hereditary oi di ko tang thong ge du am le khat ki ko hereditary oi di ana republic ai ba wai je akoina masi France ta gini hai bani aduga noi directly pandabai war implicitly idea of liberty idea of equality that are also emanated from the French Revolution. Hope that go. Aduga matang sharing item no theloge sum French Revolution da philosopher amlai haiba philosophers na magi wahai magi wangang man irak paduna French Revolution ji inspire to kana no Montesquieu separation of power magi philosophy de If there has to be justice, political justice, there must be separation of power. US is a separation of power. Just executive, India the fusion never. Legislature over MP do ma executive work never. Modi ji hana MP withdraw fusion never. But in case of USA the separation never. Senate na ama or Congress na ama minister na ama Senate member the minister sumay oiro minister the mo secretary I can president kan. So Montesquieu harm bada if there has to be political justice there must be separation of power heaven. So I think pros and cons kitang nainabo yai ko political philosophy na kalam da lere kada yogre ko ki do kai yogre now republic nati aina country do France or ba next the Weimar Constitution of Germany WEIMER Weimar Constitution of Germany Weimar Constitution of Germany matam amagi German ki constitution amani ko but hojikti non-existence sidaki kaino koina purisa provisions of emergencies isalo provisions of emergencies emergency ki provisions je haribo Weimar Constitution of Germany dagi aikoina puban bapta ko ado provisions of emergency di kaino mahanga de provisions of emergency habidi kaim kam da koina abnormal normal circumstance ki debate tor kumatam da abnormalities or kumatam da madu kok up to ngam na bidamakta abnormal oiba provisions khara thambu kai gawe akoina emergencies ko to si je ko gi India is a democratic country ni have the kwadi yam chawna criticize to we emergency provisions lay business amazu heliko bita baptai ko say 1974 1975 ta Indira Gandhi na kai lakthui national emergency lakthupra lepe ko ngai te ko song national emergency lakthui kari ground lakthui kai ground na ma lakthui do internal disturbance da kaino internal disturbance kaino the word internal disturbance is so bad objective way the internal disturbance the some critics khana dimas kamai hai Indira Gandhi ki against the roti kapra makan Indira Gandhi hatao Indira Gandhi lokho roti kapra makan di last mana propose tor kuni ko Indira Gandhi hatao na kanna lakpa Jayaprakash Narayan gi iho kanna lakpa JP revolution total revolution ga haibo ma je khangam de disturbance budi lai political eruption lai protest lai de mana chancellor ko internal disturbance ta tok lawnga as the national emergency thamgi to se critics ki khwaida ki democratic feature samada mangal li haibigi angle da adum khut thilaga dum ta is the ko si male AIJC na hayeng main sulen kana kini ko post independence la mo yaw bune main ki da India after independence post independence na dum yaw next yengse kai yogre yes yena ba ni lai amana USSR thagera Japan thagera fundamental duties to but up to me it should be USSR fundamental duties karigino ha kan is the fundamental duties haibane socialist principles at palam jingadi with command to web batai ko economic policy or to command matak tagi atu 19 question amtang hango fundamental duties original constitution the yorumbra yaw de god shall bracket amtang chilo it was added in 1976 by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. It was added in 1976 by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. The originally provision can is fundamental duties. How many provisions were there in the original fundamental duties? Kaya is 10 fundamental duties. Originally 10 fundamental duties was there. Originally, 10 fundamental duties was there. Ama hapsal is kya surya? 11 surya. But the 11 fundamental duties is But the 11 fundamental duties was added in 2002, was added in 2002, was added in 2002 through 86 Constitutional Amendment Act. Through 86 Constitutional Amendment Act. Ko bracket te chalo bracket te kama iwe parents to provide education to their children. Parents to provide education to their children. Say kya bongno? From 6 to 14 years. From 6 to 14 years. Sidai da hang ko question dum hang balai gre ko. Sigi post dei da. Yar bose. So ke what ki yang ko haje. USC high grapa. Britain high grapa. UK Britain or England. Britain high ko. UK or Britain, USA, Australia, Canada, France, South Africa, Ireland, France, Germany. Yeah, so this is the boring features of Indian Constitution. And NB last but not the least. And NB the last but not the least. However, the majority of the provisions, however, the majorities of the provisions of the constitutions was written from the Government of India Act 1935. Was written from the Government of India Act 1935. Bracket te chalo administrative details, Office of Governors, etc. Si masamak adom UPSC ki question CDS ko mada yam tu hang. Government of India Act 1935 se masigi maximum constitution ki provisions is written to we have se mase chumbra lanbra na statement do piraga smain hangi ko. So boring feature se tatana hangi UPSC na pame MPSC na su yam pame. Yare ko sa MPSC Manipur Public Service Commission so masigi matang si yam. So second kunang pathaw aduga amamung horase aduga minute khara hena tokthaba yabra yadabra kaino sibo khang da wari na makhang tokta jari sibona ko so sibo kitang sumale next amuk lakadu sina kaino salient features of Indian Constitution. Next page dam thamuko salient features of Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution ki salient features. Si ek lorga in nature among take nature of Indian Constitution ko. Salient features of Indian Constitution and nature of Indian Constitution ko. Eko. Si yango salient features da sum naina ko. Indian Constitution je yengkan se sta mangon da hapsan be ab hapsan level. Hapsan bay ab hapsan bay ne ba man lengthis orise. Do karigino ha kan de na kalam de zo. Hoy group is a reflect of the habits na kalam de ni. Adu India is a diverse way. Fifth schedule ga yawi sixth schedule ga yawi diverse way na trosa. Pata bra. Adagi amuk ako ki article 45 46 ta SC ST ga pa article 46 related to SC ST gi ni ko. So diverse oibani na maram orkan da ako ki constitution jo diversified features lam dai. Pata bra. So it's a lot first of all that's my easy. The Indian Constitution is the written and the lengthiest constitution in the world. The Indian Constitution is the written and the lengthiest constitution in the world. Makada sum easy ka. Yango next the written habi athadi Yang ko. Under the cabinet mission plan, under the cabinet mission plan, the Constituent Assembly was formed. Under the cabinet mission plan, the Constituent Assembly was formed. To make the Constitution. It took 2 years, 11 months, and until days to complete. It took 2 years, 11 months, and until days to complete. With originally consisting of 295 articles. Yes. 395 articles, 8 schedules, and 22 courts. Ya brother Rosa. Ya ko. Nang kisna kanda Britain gi isan be Britain gi di constitution leite haben ti lei mo. Ada Constituent Assembly sem gi bra constitution inab gi damakta sem gi ti. Matam ki historical discourse to the chanaba lakpa provisions in the eBay wari hapsen be wari. So this is about it. Next ongyeng se next inclusion of fundamental rights. Inclusions of fundamental rights. Next point inclusions of fundamental rights. Yeng ji ko sida I silent picture se phasa khangwa wire je silent picture phasa khangwa buda nang holistic view of hapet graph sam lei duini babta ko se introduction ku mone amom bhai inter constitution ki yengo se the fundamental rights part kya dona fundamental right aus ya yes the fundamental rights enumerated under part 3 of the Indian Constitution. The fundamental rights enumerated under part 3 of Indian Constitution. Article क्या क्या बोलना है? Article क्या बोलना है? ना खंग भी और कदी 19 दगे, 18 दगे, 14 दगे, नती को ऐसे बगी दी 12 to 35 इसे from Article 12 to 35. अदो fundamental right क्या यावी? How many fundamental rights are there currently? Fundamental right क्या no? 6 के no? ningsang si ko ningsang chắc kije ado loira kan da yam nungai bam su oini ko. So right to equality hai bam ne, right to freedom hai bam ne, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational right to property, property, right to constitutional remedy. So anyway, right to property was deleted in 1978 by 44 Constitutional Amendment Act during the period of Janata government headed by Morarji Desai. So Morarji Desai, who was the first non-Congress Prime Minister of India? Morarji Desai. So it's fundamental right. So from Article 12 to 35 iraba. These parts of the Constitution seek to ensure the political democracy, seeks to ensure the political democracy to stop. And it attempts to ensure indispensable rights such as equality, liberty, right to life, freedom from exploitation, etc. Right to life, freedom from exploitation, etc., which are quite necessary, for moral, spiritual, mental, and physical perfection. For moral, spiritual, mental, and physical perfection. Full stop no more. This right is available against the state. Full stop no more. This right is available against the state. But like state against the labor policy, individual oriented labor policy. But like so fundamental right, say Indian Constitution the yaw is a silent feature of Indian Constitution the aigi matung ina aina sum khara sum nainarapi matung ina atopa khangraga so ama khatang khangwa hai targati a fundamental right khangwa har kan bap tai ko atopa nang provision part adu atopa khangma ngamba ka phare ngamraga su part ama khatang khangde ati hai targati ina part 3 ji khangwa har ka de mamdi kaino fundamental right si direct applicable ni applied ni by bap tai ko so man em to ji kaino se man to ji kaino political democracy ni individual amagi dignity ensure torkadoi ni individual amagi liberty ensure torkadoi ni equality ensure torkadoi ni exploitation prevention torkadoi ni adu high right cha individual against the phangba khatang na tabida even government against the bo phangba right ni bap tai ko so 1978 menaka gandhi case namalai Manimpu ka mamung nupi khanarak pa khanarai ba pot cha politico administrative affairs ta mami tarak pa foreign passport te thingjalak pa noi pass parmani ko foreign passport ta thingjalak pa tam sista adu ki mamang di India constitution India ki supreme court na chanari principle kaino due procedure established by law di kaino English jurisprudence ne English jurisprudence ne kaino court na semai ba law da question hang bangam da parliament na semai da question hang bangam de moi na phatya ju phatti according to the law kema intention da hang bangam da adu ga 1970 ki matung in di due process of law la eko bokta ko due process of law ki matung in di supreme court intention hang bang hange melafa intention bona fa intention hange ada kaino ma foreign passport foreign chat ki hai bijum kaino nang thingi executive or ga ju thingi je mase se malafa intention so it should be struck down not torko horaki ko adagi ambit of supreme court cha sok thok paje fasna hori madu kai gi matung ina no do fundamental rights ki matung ina so thok na rei ni ko so at least fundamental rights di pasna khangwam da ka ho even exam gi na tabi da nakalam da sum didi basu parkan da MPSC am tok twin khale du exam gi ni nuaite ko smaina ko ne si je fundamental right chile next da yang ji ko next da amtang isalam oduga I can pen ko next da inclusions of directive principle of state policies inclusions of directive principle of state policies ko directive principle of state policy ma hapsa leje si je feature samne bra so sagina individual right to people ni sina mu state ta constitution ki instruction de pirakoni ko chalo so it is included in the part 4 of the Indian constitution it is included in the part 4 of the Indian constitution ai gkm thengne competitive exam am da hai competitive exam UPSC na te Dr. Ambedkar na directive principle of state policy se kamana describe tronge question number thengne ko ngarang na mamang da su padi pagre khangre amuk hanna aigon da su ningjang han bai tar kai ko bimana novel features of Indian constitution ja directive principle of state policy novel di like novel features of Indian constitution na mag mahan isalo smain dang iyo Oma ibe ko article kya no bracket te chalo hayeng hangaga ko from article 36 to 51 direct article 51 je koina kenuk thama tam the prelim thama tam direct UPSC thangai promotion of international peace and friendship se kadai te yawi direct oin hangi bu yawi skin da hangai ni ko man da paru ga ada promotion of international peace and friendship se article 51 te yaw se article hai de mana union and its territory part 1 da yawbra part 2 citizenship da yawbra part 3 fundamental right da yawbra part 4 DPSP da yawbra direct hangaki ko sisima direct man de bida SSC question ni kan khalaga direct hangjil pu yawe ana koi kamai tokta SSC level la kumdra ga prepare tokta takhala ga tokta sisima ni suhen be yada bu ne ko aduna syllabus ta yenga prepare toba train da yenga su prepare toba koi soi be yada phok be yada na sigum ma sum de do hajiki to kai yogre so it shaloko so it basically it is basically ishaloko it is basically the principle of governance it is basically the principle of governance to be applied by the state to be applied by the state higher bracket article 37 thasalo article 37 oma kolo and which seeks to ensure SWEKS ko kita pronunciation there ka jo sagalo ko which seeks to ensure a welfare state in article 38 talk indeed ko DPSP is the constitutional instruction indeed DPSP is the constitutional instruction to the state. Ekanum hange state hai there is the state hai badi kaino samna state hai badi hoi the territory ki su idea mani according to article 12 according to article 36 ki body ama haiba body se law oibe ai regulation oibe semba ngamba amasung implement su toba ngamba thabak tu onthok ngamba batai ko isam sabda state amane even LIC state amane office LIC office state amane nakal public figure municipality state amane panchayati raj state amane swaida lo suraji ko so sum kuishala gadi ozagi mai je yengai ngas khoni khoni ko eh tu khange but kai gumba kitang tal ho gen to gi wari ni kuishala igoi ozagi yengai ngas khoni khoni no swai matang kitang sigi oina dhanaba so khaga parlo enga se silent feature se luchen ge to buni ngamde ko tak tingai dadi fact and figure analysis se yam dabo mali tala kana myam thulai ko hekta maka sa thaba yade aduga flow haibam thulai aduga but time sung coming days the high stipulated course lotion doi ni ko khaga di po khaga halap po adu practice dum to admaina hai tare ko ai gun dilak to man diet kya target